Hello, welcome back, everybody, to another year of the Sunday Podcast.
I'm Ollie Lam.
And I'm Matt Seddon.
Back in 2025 for our 5th season. You can expect more of this.
He's claiming that he was ill before the semi-final, whatever. But, you know, I just feel like at that point he was just looking for attention.
And some of this.
Elio normally say, no human is limited. So I can't limit myself, or I can't just say I can do.
As well as event coverage around all the major races on the UK circuit.
And if you're a fan of the pod, please give us a rating and review on your preferred podcast streaming service.
And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news, give us a follow on Instagram at Sunday Podcast.
As always, thanks for listening. See you next time. And we hope you enjoyed the episode.
Okay, welcome back to another episode brought to you by sportsnews.com as always. And we are just dissecting Faith Kipyegon's breaking 4 attempt. Mate, where do we start with that one? We have a few thoughts, few complaints maybe, but also maybe what we should have expected, right?
Definitely what we expected. I didn't expect her to break this record. Honestly, if she broke it, I would have thought there's some just stupid advancements in technology, to be honest. And I think, there's so much to break down from this. I think, credit to Nike, it was a marketing event, man. Like, even the way they had 11 or 12 pace? I mean, the pacemaker decision just seemed bizarre. Like, I guess, like they fanned out to the right-hand side a little bit, Grant Fisher on her shoulder. This is weird because Nike, I just feel like they've hyped this event up, and they've basically just carbon copied the breaking 2. Even the branding was the same as the breaking 2. I think there was so much technology advancements for breaking 2. I think the weather, the course, the pacemakers, they make such a difference in a marathon. If you can shave off 0.5 of a second every K, there's a pretty hefty margin right there. What is that, like a minute or more just straight off the bat? So but anyway, and it's just not as much to shave off come the mile. But I just thought the pacemaking, I watched the documentary and that kind of made sense, like a little group of 4 or 5 people. But I mean, they had like Fisher on her shoulder. Giles is 20 meters up the road. And Gemma Ricci and George Bell were behind her, like as if that's going to help. Yeah, it was weird. And I just look at it, I feel like at the end of the day, I think track runners, someone like Kipyegon is a racer. One, why wasn't this event just at the end of the Diamond League last week? The stadium was empty. I know there were people on the rail, right, around the outside of the track. So if they all went and sat in their seat, maybe it would look a little less empty. But just honestly, like when you think about when Bannister attempted sub 4, no one could get anywhere near Iffy Road. When you think about Vienna, when Kipchoge went, obviously the first one, it was closed, right? I don't think they allowed many people to go to that Monza arena. But when they opened it up to Vienna, the crowd was it was mega, and so many people, thousands lined the course. And I think that just shows people didn't think she was going to do it. No one seemed interested enough to go watch this event live.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue that is she was nowhere even close before the event, right? You can claim, oh, I'm doing something, but if you've run 4:02, mate, yeah, okay, you're like, okay, let's go do it and let's put it out there. But yeah, it's kind of like 4:08. You're way off over a mile, and I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. I think this is where for Nike, for the brand, pitching this to your general public, she's come pretty close, right? She's run 4:07, 4:06, whatever it was in the end, 4:07. And they're like, oh my God, she's only 7 seconds off. I think for me, that's the only reason, like legitimately, that you do this is because to the general public, that's fairly close to a 4-minute mile. But for people who know the sport, is absolutely miles off. Honestly, I think she'd do better if she ran in a true like 3:58 race with like some elite men.
I completely agree, mate.
I think she runs like 4:4, 4:3 if she's trying to be competitive. Yep. When a winner runs 3:59, 3:58, a load of guys, last place is running like 4:5, 4:6, right? I think she runs quicker.
I think something which you don't appreciate when you're so much on the track, but actually there is something to be said about winning a race and the adrenaline that gives you, and the adrenaline it gives you just towing up on the line and there being something else other than going for a time. And it's, I think some people can just race for a time and they're better at it. But also when you talk about a race there, when you look at the conditions in Monaco when she ran the world record, and the same when she ran it last year over 1500, lights are the pace for her. and she can run such a smooth rhythm. She looked uncomfortable with those guys around her. She just looked uncomfortable. And, you know, I think she could have had, in the documentary, they allude to this training partner of hers that is like his stride is identical to Kipyegon's. She can get so close to this guy. He was nowhere to be seen. Instead, they've got Craig Engels and like Cooper Tier with these long loping strides. And I'm just like what?
Yeah.
It was really weird in that sense.
She was warming up before, when the stream was
with
on.
Her paces. With her paces.
Yeah. But like one of them was like holding his side. I was like, he's got a stitch on the warm. So I wasn't sure what was going on there. I don't know if there were like some last minute changes in terms of like who went in what positions, right? Because that's the thing. It seemed like there was a lot of pacers out there who weren't even involved.
No, I just think, why wouldn't you bring in literally the guy she runs with every single day round the track? Why is he not just right in front of her?
Right in front of her, yeah.
And so that was bizarre, and he can literally get her to like 3.5 laps. And I think when there's no wind in a race, and you've got the wave lights, you've got something to shoot at. I don't know how much of a difference the pacemakers make. I think she had to chop her stride quite a bit. The first bend, I mean, me and you said the first bend, the first 150 looked really uncomfortable. She didn't she got out hard, and then she just doesn't have the flat speed. And I think this is what we said pre the event, didn't we? She just hasn't got the 800 speed. She hasn't got the 400 speed. But hey, look, credit to the event, and there is it is huge for women, and I think now it's happened. This will be a discussion now until 4 minutes is broken.
Yeah,
and whether it's a discussion which is great. Yeah, whether it's a discussion every year, whether it's a discussion I personally think it's going to be a discussion about every 10 years. I'm not sure. I mean, Kipyegon is one of a kind. Yeah, and I'm not sure we're going to see another Kipyegon in the next 5 years, probably more than 10 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, me and you were saying, and like you say, you alluded to it last week as well. I think for us, the woman that does this is not going to come from this new breed of 1500 5K athletes. They're going to be an 800 1500 runner.
I think they need to be
159 through 800 is too close to being an elite female 1500 meter runner.
Yeah,
and you need someone that can run 153, 154 through 800 meters. So that when they're going through in 2 flat, they are so comfortable. Like, I'm not saying Keely would do it, right? But Keely's obviously there commentating. If Keely went through in 201, she would look so much more comfortable than Kipyegon looked tonight. And that's not to say Keely would go do it, but I think someone of that 800, 1500 background has got more chance than a 15.5 athlete such as Faith Kipyegon.
I totally agree. And
if it brings more people into the sport, brilliant. Okay, but I think that's not I don't think the answer is events like this. I really don't.
No, and it showed. Like, actually, there didn't seem to be. I mean, we all watched it at home. There was huge interest, and I'm sure. I don't know. I'm sure millions of people watched this event. I had mates texting me who don't really watch the sport, and they were watching it. So, Nike have just absolutely hit jackpot. They've ticked the box. They've done it again. They've learned from Kipchoge, and they're building the hype. But, unfortunately, though, that also, when you're that far off, I just hope that speed suit doesn't catch on.
Yeah,
I can see it now. It's 2 years' time. We're going to be watching the Olympic Games, and everyone's going to be wearing those arm sleeves, calf sleeve, speed suit. It's going to be.
Well, mate, we've seen it on the marathon scene since Breaking 2. I'm certain that kicked off even just more people wearing half tights in a marathon, right?
No. The only in a marathon, maybe. I was going to say the one man who has encouraged or made everyone wear half tights, and that's Jakob, inspired everyone to wear half tights, and that's Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Yeah, on the track. But I think the idea of wearing half tights and arm sleeves for a marathon was definitely a kind of a fallout of Breaking 2.
Defo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people, like you say, like you got your mates who have texted you who wouldn't normally watch these kinds of events. I think you'll be interested to see what their reaction is. Like, do they think that was a cool event and that it was close? Because I think that's where me and you are sat, right? It's nowhere near. So like, look, I want to see a woman go sub 4, but we're just way off it, and tonight's not giving me an inkling that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. Do you know what else? I think track running, the shorter the distance, I just think in those middle distances, those 8s and 15s, I think it's pretty hard to pinpoint exactly what shape you're in and how fast you can when you set a date, like when they set the 26th of June, I think that's very difficult to work towards a date like that when it comes to the track. And obviously you do towards a championship and X, Y, and Z, and you kind of roughly do it when you're going to try and run a PB. But I think so many factors have to come together for you to make sure you're in the shape of your life and in world record shape. And I just think it's tough to book a date in the diary 4 months out and go, right, yep, I'll be in world record shape on that day, because it just doesn't work like that in the 8 and the 15 and even the 5K. You get yourself in great shape, you get yourself almost there, but then you need a really smooth couple of weeks. You need the race, you need the sort of motivation, the hunger, like you need a lot of things to play out right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she may well run quicker this year in a Diamond League. We may see her actually break her world record or possibly her 1500 world record, because she'll be a bit more relaxed and she'll be involved in a race, albeit 5 seconds up ahead.
Yeah, 100%. Mate. Even things like the weather, they were talking before the race saying, "Oh, it's not ideal, but we'll make the most of it." I'm thinking, surely you push it back a couple of days, and this is where building it as an event, like you say, versus doing what they did in Monza and having a bit more of a kind of behind closed doors attitude to it. And I know, like, you can't build the hype the same way if you're like, oh, it's going to happen sometime this week, right? But I'm pretty sure that Monza one, right, they didn't announce the exact start time until like closer to the date, because they were checking weather and timings and things like that. I seem to recall anyway. I might be wrong on that. And then they actually announced the final start time like closest to the date, and they really kind of picked out when it was going to be. Because you don't want to be. I think they were interviewing Sang when they're talking about the weather, and he's talking about it 40 minutes before, and he's saying, "We'll make the most of it." I'm like, well,
yeah,
filling me with confidence.
And Sang just didn't sound convincing, full stop, in that interview. It's difficult to interview him 5 minutes before Kipyegon's trying to do what she was trying to do. But when he said they've had a few hiccups in the for a coach to admit that, and we see it all the time, don't we, in major city marathons, when they say it's been a challenging build. That's a positive way of looking at it. And she still ran 4:06.5. So I think we are going to see big things from Kipyegon. Will they try this again? I think this is interesting. Is this just a rehearsal for a year or two's time when she attacks it again, and how close can she get? I think they might attack it again, but I'm just not sure, because she's 32 years old, 31 years old, starting to get towards the end of her career, and someone who's been racing at the Olympic champion in 2016.
Yeah.
Like, we're almost 10 years on from that. And she was running at a world-class level in 2011, 2012 when she was winning World Junior Crosses. Yeah, and you're talking an event in a 1500 where you do need that speed.
Yeah, she's more likely for me to go on and be running world-class 10Ks, half marathons, than attack that sub 4. I think it's interesting.
Her and Chebet will break 14.
Yeah, and I think she, like you say, mate, I think if she went and tried to run 4:03, she'd probably do it, right? But I think it's too big a jump. And just, but perhaps not the right way to go around it. But look, if you don't try it, they'll never know, right? Because when they went through in 3:01 at 1200, I was like, phew, if anyone can, Kipyegon can, right? But just pretty tough last lap.
It was tough last lap. Yeah, it was tough last 100 for her. But yeah, that was. I guess they're just our hot take straight off the bat. We only watched it like 20 minutes ago, so. Yeah, you've just heard it straight from us. I mean, that's all I can think of right now. But yeah, I guess no shocks. It would have been unbelievable had she broken it. I think there would have had to been so much analysis, like, how has she broken it? I think there'd be so many questions. What has given her that much of a jump? Because we said in the week, didn't we? I mean, it'd be like Jakob going running, 3:20 or something, or sub 3:30, sub 3:20. Do you think? Yeah, and that would just be bonkers. They're talking about guys chipping off a point, whatever. So there we. Yeah, anything else from that, man? I mean, I don't think so. But we'll be back with a great episode on Sunday. We spoke to Darren Gorson, head coach in New Mexico, and he's currently leading their most successful program in a number of years, if not ever, working with guys who are sub 27 minutes and some incredible athletes. So, and he's a Brit coaching at the highest level in the NCAA, which I think is a cool story and a very, very unique unique story as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess another episode to direct you to, if you haven't listened to our episode with Faith Kipyegon that we recorded last year, please do go check that one out, because yeah, having spoken to her, that's what gives me like any sort of inkling that she might get close, or she might do these great things. Because yeah, just when we sat down with her in that podcast, like her mindset is just absolutely next level. So yeah, go check that one out if you haven't already, or if you want to go.
Lum
go
reckons.
Back. Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
Lum reckons he planted the seed to sub 4. He reckons listen to it back and see if he did actually say it, because he reckons he said to Kipyegon before Nike reckon they got in touch with her in October on the documentary. When did we speak to Kipyegon? I'm not sure, but yeah, Lum reckons.
I said, how close to sub 4 can you get? How close to the 4-minute mark can you get? So there you go. Nike must have been listening, so we need some commission. Look, thanks for listening to us, guys, and we'll catch you Sunday.